Hi, good morning everyone. Here I am in my suburban / urban garden this morning, and I wanted to bring you a video about my Roselle. Last year was my first experience growing Roselle. I made some changes this year. Wish I'd made a few more, but I wanted to show you what's happened. I seeded in 7 plants, maybe a few more than that. I gave some away. And then here are my plants. This is the tallest one. This one is about, I don't know, over 6 feet tall. I'm 7 or 8. And these are some of the fruits. You can see that there are some buds here, and I actually was hoping today to show you some of the open blooms, and that's why I came out early this morning. However, this is a tropical plant. Roselle is a tropical plant, and if you want to know more about that, watch my video talking about the background, the growing conditions, all of that. But here you can see a tiny bloom, and but it is not opened. And the problem was it got cold here last night, or it got cool here last night. It got down into the lower 50s, maybe the upper 40s. This plant is a tropical plant. Roselle is a tropical plant, and it does not like cold. When it's like 40 degrees consistently and it starts getting cold, this plant will die. So anyway, I've been harvesting this morning, and we'll be harvesting more. We'll be making some different recipes with this, and I hope you will join me on my journey. You can see there are several developmental phases here. You can see this part. You turn it here. You can see this part where there is a little bit of a sepal there, and then a spent bloom. The bloom will expel and come out, and then this calyx will develop into a bigger, will grow like these. So the first phase is, of course, a bud, and then there is the bloom, as you can see here. If I can not shake the camera where you can see it, then there's a bloom. This plant is a member of the hibiscus family, so they look like hibiscus blooms. If you've grown hardy hibiscus, however, in my experience, you'll be a little bit disappointed by these blooms, because even though they're beautiful like that, they are definitely not as big as a hardy hibiscus. So you can see the little buds here on the end. Just a few little buds. Sorry, the sun is in my eyes. I'm having a hard time seeing where I'm pointing. But those are kind of the phases, the little buds, and then grows into the flower. Then you see the flower sticking out of the sepal. It becomes the calyx. I hope I'm saying that wrong. For people who know a little bit more about that, I may not be, and please comment and correct me. And then the calyx go ahead and get bigger. So I have a small row of these, and I will do some different things next year when I plant these. I've learned a lot last year and this year. This is my second year growing. And so I'm going to take you over here and show you a couple more things. What I did is I pulled off some of the calyxes, and I'll try to disrupt this as little as possible. And I wanted to show you guys what I found. So here's a calyx, and let me move. Here's a calyx, and it's intact. You can see this is the stem end right here, and then the pointy end is kind of the opening, so it covers it. Covers the seed pod. The seed pod is inside. I cut the calyx across the bottom to show you. So here is a calyx where whoops, I'm a little clumsy, guys, where I have cut the bottom off. And I thought it was really interesting when I cut that bottom off, because it shows, it demonstrates that this is, see that? It demonstrates that the Roselle is a member, is kin to okra. It's a member of the hibiscus family, and okra, of course, has that same type of bloom. So I thought that was really, really cool. But when you peel back, so I cut off the stem end, and if you peel this outer part right here, that is what is typically used for either some medicinal properties, or a medicinal product, or a culinary product. So here we have, I've separated out the seed pod. It's a big green mass that has little seeds inside of it. So I thought that was really cool. And there, I'll drop that again. I'm not really good with my left hand, you guys. So then where I pulled the calyx off, you can see how that looks. Let me try this with my dominant hand. Okay, so you can see that calyx, and that's kind of a rubbery, you know, it's kind of a rubbery product. It's very interesting, and so I'm going to take a bite of it. And you guys, you know, I'm showing kind of my upbringing here. But when I was a child, we used to always gather what we called sheep showers. And it reminds me of sheep showers. How I kind of identify this product is that, or this this fruit, is that it's part of the ingredients in the red zinger tea made by Celestial Seasonings. And I really got interested whenever I found out that I could grow that. I don't know, I thought that was a berry of some kind that made the red zinger tea. But it's a very, very interesting plant. So I'm kind of rambling here. So far I've picked a couple of pounds this morning. I picked these in just a little bit to demonstrate to you guys kind of, you know, the harvesting process. And one thing that I didn't show was where this is attached to the plant on the little stem, right at the base of that is a little bud on almost all of them, a little tiny bud for another fruit. And I thought that was really interesting because I had been just pulling the fruit off or snapping the fruit off, and often then that would damage that small fruit, that budding fruit. So I went ahead and took my trusty garden shears today and have been harvesting that way. Also, you can't really tell it today. You can tell it a little bit, but the last time I harvested it, or my first time doing that, I didn't realize that also the Roselle is used as a coloring agent. Yeah, so I had colored fingers. Today, again, I have a little bit on there, but not like I did before. It was pretty interesting. So it's a very, very interesting fruit. Well, it's actually not a fruit. It's the calyx that is harvested. It's also an important plant for cordage. The limbs are stripped and made into cordage. So it actually is a commercial product in some areas, but because the calyxes do not last a long time, they are not easy to store unless you either dry them or freeze them, is how I have been keeping them. I've been picking them, and like I said, I have over 2 pounds that I've picked so far this season. I've thrown them into the freezer so that I can gather up a quantity when I have time and make up some recipes, and I want to share those with you guys. Also, I'm going to make a video of kind of the interesting research I did about the areas of the world that this is an important plant. And I have to admit, I was really uneducated to that. I didn't realize all the way from the Philippines, across Europe. This plant originally came from Africa. They believe it to be West African, and then was spread to Asia and some places like that. It's used extensively in the Middle East. Myanmar, it is a very, very popular plant, and that was very interesting because where I work, we have a large student population from Myanmar, or from, some people may know that as Burma. Anyway, thank you for joining me today on my just a little snippet of what Harvest Day is like for Roselle, and also known as Jamaican sorrel, also known as Queensland jam fruit. I just love this plant, and I hope you do too. If you're in the Tulsa area, I appreciate you commenting, letting me know. I'm happy to share seeds if those are viable as I try to dry them on the plants. I'll be happy to share those with people and to share my love of the Roselle plant and of plants in general. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time on my next video. All right, bye-bye, guys.